Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to twitch.tv/Ice Cream Plus. My name is Graham Day, and what about the intro? What about the intro? Shout out to Jimmy and the rest of the design team at Ice Cream Uploads for giving us a bit more of a punchier intro into this stream. If you didn't see it, if you're listening on demand or if you're watching on YouTube, you won't have had the countdown. If you're on Twitch, though, then you would have done that 10, 9, like Inception sort of blah. It was nice. It's nice. And we'll refresh the clips that are in there. Got some Bibby playing PGA in there, me dancing to PUBG wins and stuff. It's nice. It's lovely. How is everyone doing today? How are we all doing? Number one, Pirates. He's back. He's a regular again. This is incredible. It's only because he's going to be taking part in the tournament on stream tonight. He just wants to get his name in lights. We know what it is.
Oh,
We
yeah.
know what it is.
Don't need support.
Yeah. Honestly. West. Good morning, dude. Madge as well. Hey. Pirate says Graham dancing has brightened up my morning. Yeah. Got to love a few shapes. A few shapes being thrown when you get a PUBG win. Nice. How is everyone though? If you're in the chat, please feel free to drop in with your comments. Say hello. While Bibby just finishes off his breakfast. What are we eating, Bib?
Hey. Samantha came in with poached egg, beans on toast.
Oh, nice. Well, while Bibby destroys a little bit of poached egg, beans on toast, I'll welcome you all in. My name is Graham. This is Bib. That is poached egg and beans on toast. Nice. Anyway, yeah. We together are Ice Cream Uploads. Well, we're part of Ice Cream Uploads. There's a lot of us, but we are Ice Cream, and in true Ice Creamy fashion, this is The Scoop, your daily dose of news from the world of video games and beyond. We want your thoughts and impressions on the news, because we're going to give you our thoughts and impressions. Not only do we want your thoughts and impressions, but we want your thoughts and impressions on our thoughts and impressions. That's kind of how it goes. We're going to have a little bit of a discussion on the news that has been breaking in the world of video games today. And we do it live each and every single weekday at 10 a.m. ish on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. And if you're in the chat when we're live at 10 a.m. ish, then please feel free to get involved, because as mentioned, we turn this into a podcast and an on-demand video that goes on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and Google Play. All of those places everyone gets to watch and listen on demand, but they do not get the ability to join us right here, right now, in the chat and ask important questions like, is that a Batman dressing gown? I can confirm it is a Batman dressing gown. Good question, Pirate. Good question.
Yes, it is.
West, okay, we're going to have a pre-conversation because West has a question. I hope the eggs and beans are not touching. Are you one of those people that likes your foods to be mixed, or are you a compartmental eater, Bib?
Nope, I'm a mixer, me mate. In the greatest sense of the word, my beans and eggs on toast are all touching. Big fan of that.
Do you know, I'm the same.
Like
I'm the same.
He wants a dry egg. Do you know what I mean?
I am gonna though kill the call, because we have a little bit of a delay. We're like overlapping and stuff, and I think your mouth and your voice isn't in sync. So 1 second, Bob, try again.
I think after we finish this stream, I'm going to restart my PC and hope that makes a difference.
Yeah. So we will continue. We have been having a few tech gremlins with connection stuff, like voices being out of sync and a bit like what's the word I'm looking for? Choppy. So if that does happen for you guys, we apologise. But yeah, we've been ripping Streamlabs to bits to get everything set for tonight's Muscle Moose Cup. If you don't know what that is, the Muscle Moose Cup is going to be an 8-man tournament taking place live on the Twitch front page at 7 p.m. tonight in the UK. We will be live on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads a little bit before that to set things up, but then from 7 p.m. we will have 8 people that have already qualified through the Muscle Moose qualifiers. That includes number one Pirate, who's in the chat. Don't know if we have any other qualifiers in there, but the likes of Fish, Deep Zalig, or Deep Zalig, as we pronounce his name on social media, Joninho, and a few others. Precision, those guys have all qualified already and will be taking place tonight. If you want to see any more details on who's qualified, then you can check out our tweets from yesterday, plus another reminder from this morning. That'll be taking place tonight. Before that, we have Masters of the League, which will follow this. That's our PES modded PC series. That's a Master League series, should I say. And then before that, we have this, which is The Scoop, where we're going to run through the biggest and the best and the breaking stories from the world of video games. Jumping into the mini feed, though, Pirate, thank you very much for the host. West, thank you very much for the host, as well as ads as well. Obviously, you can see that I've fixed my Lumia stream now, so whenever somebody hosts or raids or donates or subscribes or anything like that, we do have the lights having the disco in the background. So it's all back to normal. It's all back to normal. Jump into the chat then before we jump in. Ian, good morning, dude. It says morning, boys. Pirate says, I thought that was Bibby just trying to consistently show off the ICU blackout hat. Well, that's what it was, really. We occasionally talk about stuff that requires... Oh, actually, let me just have a quick lean down at my keyboard. I'm only joking. Oh, crap, I've just knocked off the blackout hat from the thing. It's just here. So, let's see if I can get it back up. There again. Just going to go past the camera with it. Oh, no, I've knocked off the blue one as well now. That's just oh, God. Oh, there we go. Pirate! Hey, we're the bits as well. Are you just doing that to tinker with the lights? You are, aren't you? Yeah. Eggs and beans / ketchup shouldn't touch. Happy to mix foods. I see, I'm not bored with this. Any kind of egg could go with ketchup. Well, not boiled egg, but like fried egg, scrambled egg, poached egg. All of that. Yes, please. Ketchup, beans, either of them, both of them. That's fine by me. Dry egg. Looks like you're not cooking them properly.
Yeah. No, do you know what I mean by a dry egg? Like just an egg on its own. Like you can't have just like an egg butty. It has to be an egg butty with some sort of sauce, preferably not tomato ketchup. I mean, who's putting tomato ketchup on beans anyway? That is the most rancid thing that
because
I've ever heard.
Really? I hate people that are judgmental to that point. It's a failure of life. If people go, okay, why are you having beans and ketchup? And then they'll go, but it's got a tomato sauce with it. It's like, yeah, a tomato sauce, not ketchup. It's like the people. It's like, if that's the case, then why do you eat roast potatoes and chips separately for different things? Because it's still a potato that's been cooked. It's a different taste. It's not the same. So ketchup on beans is perfectly acceptable. I don't care who you are. So do you know what?
Absolute fucking savagery. This is the only acceptable sauce to go on absolutely everything.
Sorry, I just need to disconnect the call from Bib for a couple of reasons. One, because there's a massive delay again, and two, because he's got absolutely travesty opinions. Hello?
Do you know what, Graham?
What?
I'm at my PC now. We're not going to get through any news articles at this rate.
You say you're going to restart your PC now?
I am.
Okay, in that case, then I will jump into the news and read through the first article, and then we'll jump back in whenever you're ready. So just give me a nudge when you're back.
Okay, will do.
I'll read. Sweet! This is going well. Anyway, let's jump into the first news article of the day then. First of all, let's jump into the split screen. Okay, my PC's dying now. What the fuck? Okay, let's kill the Discord entirely. Let's jump into the news. Okay, so we've established undeniably that egg with tomato sauce or beans is fine. And beans with tomato sauce is also fine. Anyone that disagrees with that, just don't bother. Just don't bother. There's no point. We've all agreed. It's fine. I mean, well, I've agreed. I've not read whether you guys agreed, but we all agreed. So Bib would never have a chicken omelette. Bibby, turn on the lights. He's just restarting everything. It'd be good. Non-tomato based hot sauce and mayo are the only acceptable condiments for eggs. See, eggs with any form of hot sauce is wrong for me. Eggs with mayo, to make egg mayo, wonderful for me. Eggs with ketchup or beans or anything like that, yep, all day. I'll take that. Anyway, we'll jump back onto that as we get further on into the show. But for now, let's jump into the first news article of the day. This is written by Jason Schreier for Bloomberg, and it's full of a few feathers as well. The article, if I scroll up, you can see there, is about Cyberpunk2077. Cyberpunk2077 publishers orders 6 day weeks ahead of the game debut. So jump into the news once again, written by Jason Schreier for Bloomberg. The article says Polish video game developer CD Projekt Red told employees on Monday that 6-day work weeks will be mandatory leading up to the November release of the highly anticipated Cyberpunk 2077, reneging on an earlier promise to not force overtime on the project. Red, a subsidiary of Poland's biggest company, CD Projekt SA, has been criticised previously for engaging in crunch, an industry term for excessive overtime in game development. The practice often lasts for weeks and can stretch out for months or even years. CD Projekt Red co-chief executive officer Marcin Iwinski last year told gaming website Kotaku that the company would be avoiding mandatory crunch and was committed to allowing employees to work without overtime. But an account from a CD Projekt Red employee recently, as well as an email to staff earlier this week, indicate that the company hasn't lived up to the word. The employee, who has not asked not to be named, discussing private information, said some staff had already been putting in nights and weekends for more than a year. In the email, CD Projekt Red studio head Adam Badowski wrote that he was optimistic about the state of Cyberpunk 2077, which stars Keanu Reeves, and that they had just sent the game to be certified for release on Sony's and PlayStation's Sony Corp's PlayStations and Microsoft Corp's Xbox. Now he wrote, why would you put in Corp there? That's just mixing things up. On the PlayStation and the Xbox. Job done. I know why. So he can link. That's what it is. It's all about the hyperlinking. Nice. Anyway, now he... Bibby's back. See if we can bring him back. Okay, whilst that's connecting, I will continue with the article. Starting today, the entire development studio is in overdrive, Badowski wrote, elaborating that this meant your typical amount of work and one day of the weekend. The extra work would be paid as required by Polish labour laws. Many other video game studios don't pay for overtime.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello. Thank you very much for the sub, you absolute beautiful man. Much appreciated. I'll jump back into that. Just let me finish the article off for now. So I'll read that bit again because I kind of butchered that. Starting today, the entire development studio is in overdrive, Badowski wrote, elaborating that this meant that your typical amount of work plus one day of the weekend. The extra work would be paid as required by Polish labour laws. Many other video game studios don't pay for overtime. The quote goes on to say, I take it upon myself to receive the full backlash for the decision, he wrote. I know this is in direct opposition to what we've said about crunch. It's also in direct opposition to what I personally grew to believe a while back, that crunch should never be the answer. But we've extended all other possible means of navigating the situation. CD Projekt Red didn't immediately respond to a request for comment. Last year, Iwinski and Badowski told Kotaku that they're looking to make CD Projekt Red a more humane place to work. We are known for treating gamers with respect, Iwinski said. I actually would like for us to be also known for treating developers with respect. So, initial thoughts, Bib. Just going to bring you back in. Let's turn the lights on Bib. Bosh. There we go. He's back.
I'm back.
So, what are your initial thoughts? I'm assuming you've read through the article. You know the gist of it.
Yes. Yes, I do. Yeah. I mean, you are crackly as hell still, so I have absolutely no idea if my voice is going to be coming through properly.
Let me just see if I'm crackly on stream. Am I crackly for you guys as well, or is it just between me and Bib?
It's
just between me.
Like quite intermittent.
Seems okay on the stream.
Well, that's fine then. I mean,
you're fine for me though, which means it's fine for everyone else as well. Yeah, both clear the same normal for me. Nice. Okay. So, what are your thoughts?
Good. You know what I don't like? I don't like the word crunch. I think that's such a blind. I mean, we've talked about crunch on this a ton of time. And by the way, it was Asim that sent me this article this morning when I woke up. I did see it last night, and but this I haven't seen this I didn't see this Bloomberg one. So thank you, Asim, for providing this one to us. But I don't like the word crunch. I think the word crunch, for us over here in the UK, it's usually down as overtime.
Yeah.
So the word crunch just makes it sound more horrendous than it actually is. And I've never thought of it that way before. But the term crunch, it is a horrible. It sounds like a vicious word. Do you know what I mean? It's got quite a.
It's charged.
It's charged. Yeah, there you go. Perfect way to describe it. Charged. Um, the way that I see this, and it's from someone who we've mentioned on here quite a lot of times. It used to be one of the co-founders of Kinda Funny, and he said that they are working an extra 7 days in total over 7 weeks to be able to get this game out. Now, taking that into perspective, Samantha's dad works 6 days a week as a taxi driver because he doesn't have an actual wage. He works 6 till 3 every single day. Um, well, sit for 6 days as a taxi driver to try and earn as much money as he can. So, working an extra day and getting paid for it. And now these are I imagine these are very well paid people as well. For the next 7 weeks, they will have to work 6 day weeks. For me, putting that into perspective, I don't think that that is the end of the world for something that you are going to have your name etched in history for. If it was going on for if you had to work 6 days a week for 2 years or a year or 6 months or 8 months, however long that is, that's slightly different. But for working an extra day for the next 7 weeks, I don't think that is the end of the world because there's people in retail now who during COVID has been working 6 days for the last 6 months. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's just people stacking shelves. And 9 times out of 10, they've got a mask over the face. So putting that in perspective, that is a little bit different than someone who's creating a video game and getting paid quite wealthily for as well. So I don't know if my perspective's been skewed from that, from obviously my experiences with people in my family. Again, my mum's a carer. She worked 6 days a week for Christ knows how long to be able to try and keep, because she was a single parent, to try and keep me and my sister from dying and keeping us on this planet. So that it's just one of them things. Like people have like a full-time job and then will go out to work at a weekend to do part-time work to be able to have more money. That is more crunch than this working an extra day for the next 7 days.
Yeah,
That's my perspective on it.
see, that's the thing for me. I'll just add a little bit of an update before I add my perspective as well, because Asim's just dropped a link in the chat, which I've just opened up. Good morning, Mr. T. Thank you very much for the article and the update as well. So this is a tweet from Adam Badowski from CD Projekt Red. And he's responded to Jason Schreier's comments, basically. But Jason Schreier's angle is, last year the bosses of CD Projekt Red approached me for an interview. They wanted to announce that Cyberpunk 2077, that for Cyberpunk 2077, they would be avoiding mandatory crunch. This week they sent out an email to staff introducing studio-wide, ... Basically, Jason Schreier is saying they've reneged on their promise. They've lied, is the angle that he's kind of gone with. And Adam Badowski has responded to that with this comment saying, these last 6 weeks are our final sprint on a project we've all spent much of our lives on, something we care for deeply. The majority of the team understands that push, especially in the light of the fact that we've just sent the game to cert, which is certification, and every day brings us visibly closer to shipping a game we want to be proud of. This is one of the hardest decisions I've had to make, but everyone is well compensated for every extra hour they put in, and, like in recent years, 10% of the annual profit our company generates in 2020 will be split directly among the team. So that's his input, which obviously kind of frames my input a little bit in the essence that I don't want, nobody wants people to be taken for a ride. If you say your contract is to finish a game, and people kind of get the impression that finishing a game is 1,000 hours. Okay, I'm getting paid. I can work out hourly based off of the sum that I've got and the rough expected amount of hours, give or take a bit. Yeah, I'm probably on a decent wage. But then that 1,000 hours turns into 12,000 hours. Then you are being taken for a ride and you are being overworked and underpaid. And nobody wants that. That's what crunch is. Crunch is when you are someone. I'll put it in simple words. Someone takes the piss and overworks you. Doesn't care about your mental health. Doesn't care about your financial situation. Doesn't care about your living situation and whether you need the emotional, financial, or physical well-being that being with your family or having a good wage or anything. That's what crunch is. Crunch is manipulation and taking advantage of people. People finishing a project and working hard to do so is not crunch. And that's where this is shit, is Jason Schreier has made an article here bad-mouthing CD Projekt Red, which has been proven many, many times to be one of the most forward-thinking companies. Not perfect. No company is perfect. You show me a company that's perfect, and I'll show you a company that seems to be perfect. Probably has their own gremlins in the closet. No company is perfect, but CD Projekt Red are one of the most forward-thinking companies. They mentioned it in the article of we're known to be forward thinking for our customers. We want to be the same
Yeah.
for our developers. And I believe that. I believe it. Like within Adam Badowski's comment, they're going to compensate people for their overtime. They will be paid for it, plus 10% of profits. If Cyberpunk smashes it, earns billions, it's not that you're going to get £5 extra. 10% of those billions. If it's 1 billion or 100 billion, 10% it goes up depending on whatever they get. I mean, the percentage stays the
Yeah.
same, but the value goes up. So they are compensating for that time. So yeah, I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of that. Calling overtime, paid overtime, compensated overtime, crunch is not the same for me.
I think if you're gonna die on a crunch hill, he's chosen the wrong one here.
Yeah, exactly.
In fact, he's fighting a battle that I imagine most people in the chat will have experienced over at least the last 6 7 months, working in different conditions, shall we say? But these guys are going to be heavily compensated for it. Whether or not that means that as soon as the project's finished and it starts to wind down, because obviously there will be bugs, glitches, and stuff like that for the following maybe 2 or 3 weeks after the game comes out. So they will still have to work on that, but might not be 6 to 8 weeks, but they are going to have day one patches or hot fixes within the next 2 or 3 weeks. But after that, if it's winding down time, these guys are going to probably get an extended break, as well as being heavily compensated monetarily. So I think I don't even think this will be a big problem within their team creating this game. Adam would have pulled them to one side and said, "Listen, we're not behind, but we need to do a little bit more to be able to make sure that when we release this game on day one, that people aren't going to be ripping the hell out of your baby over the last 3 or 4 years that you've been working on it. If we can take the time to be able to do it and take the extra day, so you're going to be working Saturdays for the next 7 weeks." We will enforce, we will make sure that this is going to be the best game that we could possibly be. And I imagine every single one of the people that are on that team will go, absolutely. Because why would they want to have poured their heart and souls into something over the last couple of years? And then when the final hurdle comes, they just go, actually, do you know what? I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do another 7 weeks. Um, so I don't think this is going to be a massive problem within their team. I think he's just died on the wrong hill, if I'm being honest. And it is. This isn't the first time that Jason Schreier has been caught in controversy. I don't think it'll be the last time because he seems to pick the. I mean, he's writing for Bloomberg now.
Because everyone else has got
He
rid of him.
he needs to do a little bit better. And I feel that it's going to be in his Twitter DMs, and he's going to be tweeting a lot more over the next coming days because a lot of people are going to rip this apart.
Yeah, I'm I'm not a fan of his take. Put it that way. Let's jump back into the chat though and see what everyone else thinks. Mr. T says, while this is not ideal, I don't see this as crunch. It's overtime and well-paid overtime at that. If they weren't being paid and it was for like years, then yes, it's wrong and it should be condemned. Chat's just auto-scrolled. Nice. This is more of a not ideal scenario than to be up in arms about. Wes says if you're being compensated for it, then there's no problem. I've worked for projects that were where the workload is ramped up before completion. Doesn't sound like an issue at all. Then we have a 3-minute delay chicken for charity command, which adds needs deleting, and it's gone. It's gone. Tito says, on the other hand, paid or not, it's still forced overtime, still crunch to me. Staff may be happy to do it, but we're assuming it's well compensated, but you don't know that.
How do we know it's forced, though? How do we know it's forced?
I mean,
They might have a team of 300 people, and maybe 20 of them don't want to participate, but obviously then they won't be as compensated as the other people who will be doing it, because there will be people in this company that don't have a nuclear family to be able to go home to. They will might be single and have nothing else better to do. But for them, their career is worth more because people don't forget people. A lot of people are heavily driven by careers rather than it just being a job. So they will work 50, 60 hours a week in the hope to retire a little bit earlier. I have family members who are in the police force that do that now, and one of my cousin is about to retire at nearly 55. Well, he will retire in a couple of years at 55. Like he will have the next 40 years of his life to do whatever he wants to do. Then that's because he's been working 60, 65, 70 hours a week or whatever it is that he's been working in the police force. It's just one of those things. People are motivated by money, and getting to an end goal as close as possible. That will still be happening in this company as well, whether or not they've got a family or not to go over to. It's entirely up to the person that's going to be there. They're not going to be forced. They're not going to be they're not going to be chained to the desk
I mean,
and been told to work on it.
Tito says paid or not is forced, and one of the things you mentioned then is who said it's forced. I mean, Tito did say, it said in the article it was forced, didn't it? It did say in the article it was forced. So if we take everything at face value based on what has been presented, then
Did it say forced? I've just searched for forced and I can't. It's not come up with anything.
well, mandatory. Essentially, you have to do it. It's the same sort of thing. But you can't say it's forced overtime, but it's not compensated well, because the article says it's forced, but Adam Badowski says everyone is well compensated. So we can say they are compensated well. If we are taking the article at face value, then we have to take the response at face value. Everyone is well compensated. Yes, it is mandatory, and there's no option for it. And on his wording, the majority of the team understands that push. If you pick that apart, then yes, there will be some people that this doesn't suit, which is understandable. Any form of forced overtime is, for the majority of people, probably fine. But for some people, they may have family members that they have to care for. They may have split lifestyles. They only get to see their kids on a weekend. So if I have to do an extra day, I get time away from my kids. Not a perfect situation. That's not what we're saying. We're not saying, no, this is fine, absolutely wonderful. It's a situation you'd like to avoid, but it's still, for me, not crunch. There's a difference between it. By having work being busy and being more demanding on their employees, that happens in every industry. But at this extent, 6 weeks, so one extra day a week. I worked in sales and marketing training in a CAD department, computer-aided design department, and basically I was told that, I know you don't work in the warehouse. On Saturday, you're coming in at 7 a.m. to do a 6-hour shift to do warehouse stock taking so that the rest of the business continues running. I did that for like 3 weeks in a row, as did other people, and then it changed to other people because that was just part of the business to keep it working. That's crunch. It's not. It's just stock taking. You get paid for it. You get paid pretty well, actually. You get paid more than your normal wage just for doing warehouse stuff, which for me, working when I'm doing mentally tasking stuff, yeah, it was easy ticking boxes. I was like, okay, I'm getting paid to just write stuff. This is fine. So, but yeah, I get your angle. But I disagree. I don't see it as crunch.
Like in my old job, for instance, when one of our websites was going, I mean, I don't know if Willis is in the chat and he can vouch for this as well. When one of the websites is getting a massive update, you would be staying in work later every single day leading up to that. And then when the website goes live, you'll be there till 11, 12 o'clock at night, still testing the website. We never got paid for that. Like, we never got that time back. It was just a thank you, shake your hand, and here's a pizza kind of thing. They pay for your tea each night. That was it. But you'd be there for six hours after time. Like, that was just expected of you. And in a lot of senses, it would be good for you to be able to go to HR and say, listen, I'm getting the piss taken out of me here. But it would set you off on the bad foot. Like, I don't want to be the person that just comes in 9 to 5 and that is my job. I will do whatever I can outside of those hours to make sure that my life is comfortable and easier going forward.
Not only that, even away from the comfort side of things, I will do stuff outside of work. I will check my emails. I will WhatsApp people. I will Slack people. I will whatever. I mean, Asim knows. Asim's pretty much the same as us in that sort of sense. When you work something, it's good if your work can be something that you fully enjoy and you want to succeed in, because you don't necessarily see it as work outside of work. What you don't even realize, you're just doing it because it's just something you do. But what you're actually doing is making your life easier tomorrow, because if you fix it now, then it's not an issue tomorrow, kind of thing. I know that there's a whole like rabbit hole we can go down there in terms of working out of hours, and is that, but without going down that sort of way, because we'll be here for forever. There are jobs that require 40-hour weeks and require contracted amounts of overtime. So you will get your 40 hours and you will have 15 hours of forced contracted overtime. Which I always find bizarre, that you can contract me to do a minimum of 15 hours overtime a month or something like that, and it's like, well, that's just my normal hours. How can you contract me? But that exists. That for me is crunch. That's permanent forcing to go above and beyond a minimum of this, but could be more. That is more like crunch. This is 1 day a week for 6 weeks. Yeah, I know. I'm not. That's kind of like making it seem incidental. It could be a lot. It's basically over a full week extra over a month and a half. So it is a good chunk of time. But it's not anything that for me wouldn't be disastrous. I could do that, and if that meant that I pushed a product over a line, and that meant that the product launched and was phenomenal, didn't have any bugs and glitches, which meant it sold more, which meant we earned more profit, which meant that 10% of profit that comes into the company that goes to me is a bit bigger, then I'd do that. Not only that, I'd do it because I wanted to have I wanted to deliver a project I was proud in. I mean, the difference there is I'm looking at it with rose-tinted glasses as, yeah, I want to deliver a video game that's amazing. You will get some developers that don't care about video games. I know that sounds daft, counterintuitive, but you will get some developers that thrive on coding and delivering their creative bit, but don't really care about the whole project and the video game. And for those, it won't be as enjoyable. So saying that they have to sit through that extra day for 6 weeks, it's kind of like banding everyone together. Yeah, they might not be happy with it, but yeah, for me, asking for a little bit more to push something over the line and then compensating people more than enough for it, it's not ideal. Nobody would want that situation, but it doesn't seem unfair to me. I would rather people be able to opt in and opt out, but at that point, if you're kind of forcing people, you've used your exhaust. You've exhausted your options. Then you kind of need to make people go. Jumping back up. Asim says, well, unless there's proof to say otherwise, they're being paid for it, clearly stated in the article, and by CD Projekt Red. Yeah. Will be better compensated than many who are forced to do overtime at normal hour rates. Exactly. A lot of people do overtime without wages, as Bibby just said. A lot of people do overtime at normal rates. These will be well compensated according to the wording there. So I don't find it too bad. Actually, there was a comment. There we go. There it is. I'll just keep going down the chat till I get to Asim's comment, because that was what I was just about to say. Crunch is exactly what Graham said, where you've been taken advantage of and not compensated for it in any shape or form. From the information at hand, it seems that this was mandatory, say forced if you want, but wasn't just dropped on the staff in question. See, that's the thing. I mean, I think it's in the syntax. By saying overtime is crunch, you are saying that something that sounds similar to something else is the same thing. It's like saying something that is unfavourable is inherently evil. I mean, unfavourable is working when you don't want to, but you're getting compensated well for it. That's unfavourable. I wouldn't choose to work when I don't want to, but if I'm getting paid well, I suppose it's okay. Evil is I'm working when I don't want to, more than I should be, to the points where it's unsafe and unhealthy, and I aren't getting compensated for it. That's crunch, that sort of thing. So I get where you're coming from, saying it's the same as crunch, but it's not. It's there's very fine details that make the whole thing different for me. Okay, keep jumping through the chat because now it's popping. Given the current climate, anyone who's in a job is lucky, let alone those getting overtime and increased bonus. So many folk getting made redundant, all about perspective. I kind of agree there, Kevlar on Twitch. Thank you. Good morning, by the way. I kind of agree. I agree with that. Agree with that because I come from a very working class background, and that's an environment that's an opinion that I've been conditioned to have. I also, as I've grown, kind of thought, do you know what, you should never be thankful that you've got a job and be overworked. So I agree with the sentiment behind it to a point. I believe that people should be thankful for having a job. The downside of people being thankful for having a job is that's when you start to get into the point where people can be manipulated and have people take advantage of them. So quite often you'll see when there's not as many jobs going around, employers go, oh well, I don't have to pay as much because there's too many people fighting for it. A lot of supply, a lot of demand for a job, and only one job. I'm rather than paying 20 grand, I'm going to pay 15 because I can keep the extra money. So I agree. I agree with the sentiment, but obviously we need to be careful in that element that people don't get the piss taken out of them. Asim says, this Jason lad is known for these investigative type of articles, some of which hit the nail on the head and good, but this one is making a mountain out of a not so ideal molehill controversy for the sake of it. Yeah, Jason Schreier, he courts controversy, whether he does it on purpose or not. Like Rod Breslau Slasher, those he makes controversial statements because controversy generates clicks, which gets money out. And I kind of feel Jason Schreier's got to be that same sort of person. He knows that controversy sells more than just towing the line. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I feel. Ad says, EA, lol. That's a joke, by the way. I can't remember what that relates to. A human alien. Good morning, dude. Regular working extended hours without getting paid accordingly is masking the need for additional employees and gives company free labour. 100%. And that's probably the trade-off is people should be thankful for having a job, but people should never be thankful to the point where they can be taking the piss off so that the man gets more and more profit without having to compensate their employees with money or with extra staff. So if you're not getting paid, you are given the support to make your work life less stressful and easier. And yeah, you get what I'm saying. Madge, good morning again. He says he's rightfully pointing out the broken promises made by Head Honcho over no mandatory overtime. Now, I've not read this article, so it's slanted in a way some would disagree with. Ad says, I just pre-ordered FIFA 21 and EA Play today. £45 for both. Bargain. Enjoy. Yeah. It's sad that the workers are in this position at all. Hopefully they are well supported by the employer during this period. I genuinely, I don't... Being working class, I don't tend to side with any company blindly. I often will be like a union sort of minded guy, but I don't believe that's always the case. And with some of the companies like CD Projekt Red, that does have good benefit systems for their staff, that does have paid overtime, that does compensate their staff well, as it said in Adam Badowski's comment. I'm not inclined to instantly jump against them because I don't believe that they've shown in their history that. They've shown that they're trying to learn. They've delayed the game multiple times already. If every one of those delays will have cost that company money. And they're at the point where they're close, but they're not going to hit what they want. By delaying again, will take even more money, which ultimately will take more money out of the staff's pocket. If they have to delay, which puts retail back, which puts production and logistics and everything back, that will take the annual profit away from the company, which takes money out of the staff's pockets anyway, because they get a share of that annual profit. So, I mean, it's kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. But by asking for that little extra, not to the realms of crunch in my opinion, but asking for that little bit extra and being aware of it and understanding the sentiment behind it, the fact that they've said that it's the absolute last thing that they'd want to do, but they just have to do it to get over the line. They wouldn't have come out and made a statement about not wanting to have anything that can be seen as crunch and then do this. They wouldn't have said that if that was the case, because you're just going to shit on yourself when it actually happens. So yeah, it is a broken promise, but like I say, it's a promise that will ultimately benefit everyone anyway. Chucky says, I worked on a yearly salary, so I got the same amount each month, no matter how many hours extra I worked. Not ideal sometimes when you're on call 24 hours a day to deal with transport, etc. Exactly. You are permanently on crunch. It's not crunch for you. It's just your job. It's your contract. Pirate! Thanks for the bit, you absolute beautiful men. Yeah, that's it. That's crunch. That's perma crunch. That's contracted crunch. And nobody thinks of it in that sort of way for the people that are just on those contracts. It's the opposite of 0 hours. It's kind of like fixed hours, but yeah, you're gonna be doing more than you have to do. You just have to do what you've got to do, and it's like, yeah, okay, I'm on a decent salary, but when you counter the factor in the fact that I'm doing two people's jobs, I'm actually on a shit salary. You're fucking taking the piss out of me, motherfucker. Said VFM. Oh, okay. Where from? Got it from Shop 2. It was a flash deal. Said I had to buy all my deal ran out. and I was like, ooh, Pirate's getting his bits out. Hey. 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 So yeah, there we go. CD Projekt Red is fully and heavily into a crunch scenario. I mean, it's not. It's not. My opinion is it isn't. My opinion is yes, they have gone against what they said they would do, um, but sometimes you've got to do that. You've got to do that to deliver on what you're trying to do. So this is a question for Bib. So this Colin Moriarty stuff now, how would you frame this then?
I mean, it's essentially what I was mentioning before. I think when it comes down to crunch, you need to pick and choose your battles. I also think that people who are in crunch are the same people who have been in crunch for the last 6 or 7 months working in retail and places like that, where very much like what Chucky said, a lot of times they are contracted hours or they're given a salary, so whatever hours that they do during that, they don't get compensated for, with the view that at some point things will get better. They will go back down to reduced hours. They will go back down to protect. Well, they may end up getting a bonus at the end of it. I think there is a lot of people that are potentially worse off. I mean, he is a video games journalist, so he is going to go and talk about things in video games, especially with a game like Cyberpunk, which I think is one of the most anticipated games of maybe the last 24 months,
Yeah.
and it's right around the corner. So he knows what he's doing because I think it was November 17th, we said yesterday. So it isn't long until that comes out, and I think picking a game like this to go and I don't want to say go after because that's not the term I'm looking for, but to write about and to try and get clicks, it's the easiest game for him to be able to do that. And he's referencing a conversation that he had 12 months ago to try and turn the tables to potentially make them out to be lying. Hence what Asim put in before from the head honcho over at CD Projekt Red.
The interesting thing is like you're talking about the conversation 12 months ago as well. 12 months ago was a very different world from what we're in now for many reasons. Obviously, for everyone knows about the pandemic, but CD Projekt Red has delayed their game twice since then as well. So that whilst it still doesn't divide the fact that he did say that they would avoid it. Um, it doesn't divide that fact, but you get a bit more context by just saying he promised and now he's not. That's ignorant to just to do that, because if you're asking people to be recognized as people and not just workers that are there to crunch out hours, then you have to recognize that the people around them as well are people and they have been impacted by the world around it. So we have to recognize the workers as people but not also the other people as people. The whole thing, if you keep a very human thought process in it, then it's not just, that's where the grey area comes in. Black and white is no crunch, now crunch. It's not crunch. The fact it's not crunch is a grey area. The fact that the whole world has changed multiple times and CD Projekt Red's world has changed multiple times since then is grey area. And that grey area is the human element. So the whole thing around it is based around the human element. To ignore the grey area is to ignore the thing that we're fighting for in the first place.
I think he did very well in his three tweets to sum it all up. He said, "For real, can you imagine being so blessed that you get to make video games for a living? Not just any game, but a AAA game that will sell millions, that will grace your resume and make you lots of bonus cash plus leave a legacy, and that you're asked to work 7 extra paid days. Then a journalist with a blatant axe to grind who seeks out literally anything that could feed his weird narrative reports on like it's relevant. These writers realize that many people who read their work have real problems, that this shit comes off as tone deaf. Imagine working 10 hours at the supermarket with a fucking surgical mask over your face. You grab your phone and you see what's going on, and then you read about a story of the crisis how a famous AAA game dev has to work 7 extra paid days. Bearing in mind, 7 paid days in 7 weeks. Sorry, I'm just going to call it like I see it. And I fully agree with absolutely everything that he's mentioned there. An extra day in the next 7 weeks, and then that is it. They will be paid so much more than the average person who'll be down at Morrison's, who's been working 6 days a week for the last 6 months. That's the way. That's the perspective that I'm going to see it from. I'm lucky enough that I don't have to do either of those things at this moment in time. But I- if I had a choice as to which one I'd be in, I'd much rather be in the shoes of the person that's going to be getting paid an absolute fuck ton at the end of it, because this game is going to absolutely bang. And it's this. It's yeah. It's a weird situation that he's now gone after a company that will be heavily compensating the people who are putting the extra time and effort in over the next 7 weeks.
Exactly. I mean, that first tweet that you read, I'll read it again, absolutely nails it. For real, can you imagine being so blessed that you get to make video games for a living? I mean, that bit I will take with a pinch, because being blessed to make video games for a living is what the higher ups want you to think. If you think that, then you're not blessed to make video games. I mean, you are blessed to be making video games for a living. It's not work if you enjoy it, but also it's a proper job that earns people billions. So you're not just blessed; it is work. It is work. But forget that for a second. So you're blessed to make video games for a living. Not just any game, but a triple A game that will sell millions, that will grace your resume forever, make you lots of bonus cash, and leave a legacy. And you're asked to work 7 extra paid days. 7 days paid across a month and a half, to earn you extra money. It's literally not that big. It's not that big. Colin Moriarty has absolutely framed it perfectly there. But Jason Schreier wants to. What was his first tweet? If you want agenda-driven journalism, totally devoid of reality, of the reality of making and selling games, he's your man. Not me, says Colin Moriarty, talking about Jason Schreier. That's it. It's devoid of reality. Extra 7 days for someone to make something that will earn them millions and make them look phenomenal on their CV going forward. You can literally, as a developer, you can walk into many, 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 many studios off the back of that. So that's it. It's losing the reality of it. What we say. Sorry.
In regard to his first thing, where it says, "Frio, can you imagine being so blessed that you want to make that you can make video games for a living?" There will be people, maybe not in this chat, but there will be people out there that will be making their very, very first video game in something like, what's the free game that you can make video games with? It's on the PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch. Now it's like,
Streams.
no, roleplay RPG Maker. RPG Maker, that's it. RPG Maker, that will be making their very, very first video games on that. They may only be 10, 11, but they aspire to be working at somewhere like Bethesda, like CD Projekt Red, like EA, like Konami, like whoever it is that they aspire, their favorite game is, and they want to work on that going down the line. So they will be building these games out, getting their confidence up, tweaking their minds, shall we say, and getting better at doing that stuff. So eventually their goal will be there. So that's the way that I read it. So there will be people out there that the top of the tippy top of the mountain would be working on a game like this,
But
like a
only
triple
halfway
A
up.
game. Yeah, we're only halfway up. Like Cyberpunk coming out will be the biggest game. It's been touted that we can see that from a mile away. This is the pinnacle of gaming at this moment in time for this generation. Obviously, we've just had The Last of Us, which people deem the game of a generation. I think that this is probably coming out with a bit more fanfare of that, because Last of Us is very niche. Unless you like that kind of survival horror game, you're probably not going to like it. But this has a bit of something for everyone. It's got a role playing element to it. It's got an open world. It's this. I think this is probably going to be. Oh, this is such a. This is going to controversial statement if ever was one. But I think this will have the same account of fanfare that a Grand Theft Auto game would have. Like, I've never seen a game have so much hype leading up to it since Grand Theft Auto.
I agree. Loads of things stack for it. I mean, having Keanu Reeves, having the end of a generation, having arguably one of the most horrendous periods in the world in history for a lot of people, i.e. the pandemic, but having that as kind of like a shining light with the Night City Wires and additional content and the build-up and the delays. I mean, delays are negative, but what we've seen in the past is delays add spice. Fortnite having its end of chapter 2 season 2 or whatever it was, stuff delayed. That added so much spice that they absolutely shit over all records when they had their season finale. So delays adds demand, adds more desire for user bases to jump on board. So it could be huge. It absolutely 100% could be the biggest thing ever. So having to work an extra week, it's when you take it as Colin Moriarty, devoid of context or whatever he said, devoid of reality. That's it. Agenda driven and devoid of reality. Crunch is shit. Nobody would disagree with that. But using that virtue signaling to take down a company that is just trying to survive and do the best by everyone, it's not the right place. This ain't it, Chief. Virtue signaling, that's what it is, virtue signaling. It's that more than actual investigative reporting. And Jason Schreier is a really, really good reporter, but he's also missed the mark many times, and I believe he's done the same thing here. As do, I think, most of us as well. I mean, obviously, if you don't, that's entirely your opinion, and you're allowed it. Like, Tito feels it still is crunch. That's completely his opinion. There's nothing wrong with having that opinion either. We encourage the discussion. So cheers, Tito, for chirping up. Do you know what, to be fair, I do appreciate that. I've said it before, and I've said it many times when we're talking about coins and in-game transactions, or we're talking about anything that has a bit more serious, like what was it? There was Control having the next gen version that got a bit spicy when we spoke about that. I appreciate people that do have contrasting opinions, because it can be quite daunting to have two people that control the microphone, i.e., me and Bib. We get to speak, you don't. You get to type in the chat. So having someone that has a contrasting opinion to the people that have the microphone to actually speak up, that takes some balls. So if you don't agree with us, do jump in the chat. We appreciate it. Just because you don't agree doesn't mean that we're wrong and you're right, or vice versa. You've got an opinion, we've got an opinion. And the point is, you might change it depending on what we say. We might change it depending on what you say. We might all just stick to our guns and agree to disagree. That's fine. It's all good. So we appreciate anyone that does say that sort of stuff. Apart from Beans TV, if he says anything we don't agree with that whatsoever, he's a bit... Do you know what? I'm not going to say what I think. It's just not nice. Let's put it that way. Beans is in the chat. Oh, hello, Beans. I'll read. Ad says, I made a video game once. It was shite. It could be the next big game if done correctly. What, your game or Cyberpunk? Another 43 yearly trip. What? Less cocoa for ads, please. Someone come get their ads. He's drunk again. Go home, ads. Anyway, let's jump ahead. We've got a couple of news articles that we will fly through. It says we've been live for an hour and 4 minutes, but we had about 10 minutes of intro because we got the new countdown video today, which was nice. One thing ads did say is don't forget the giveaway announcement you had for today, by the way. Yeah, the reason we kind of delayed the announcement from yesterday today was so that I could get an asset put together. We still haven't put the asset together because we've been pulling all of the Muslim News Cup together. But do you know what? Should we just announce what it is for the loot drop stuff? Do you reckon?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. So if you're a subscriber to Ice Cream Uploads, we give away a prize every month to a subscriber. The first Monday of the month, if you're a sub on that day, you get entered into a prize. There are a couple of caveats for that. You have to be a subscriber on that day. So if you're subscribed in that month, but it runs out the day before, it doesn't count. You have to be a subscriber on that day, which is fair. If you're not a subscriber on the day, then how can you enter? The other caveat is that as well as being a subscriber, you have to be in Discord and you have to have linked your accounts, because that's how we keep track of who's a subscriber. We just go in Discord, randomize the names in it, and then gift. One person gets a gift. So that's it. If you're a sub and you're in Discord and you've linked your Twitch and Discord accounts, you have to do that. If you don't link Twitch and Discord, our Discord can't see that you're a subscriber. So do that. Anyway, the first Monday of every month, we will give a prize away. Last month, we gave away one of these bad boys, which actually only got shipped yesterday or today. No, today. Packed yesterday and shipped today. So Rock Pie, you will get your Blackout Baseball hat some point in the next week or so. So that should be with you soon. Anyway, this month's prize, because we've been playing a lot of it, and a lot of you guys have been involved with it, and we've been supported lovely by the people at 2K. This month we are giving away a copy of PGA 2K. Oh. Go! PGA 2K21. There you go. Nice. So we will be giving a copy of PGA away this month. A nice. I don't know. I mean, what's the price of video games these days now? £70. So it's £2,000. That's what it's £2,000 worth of price. So we'll be giving one of our copies of PGA 2K21 away to one of you guys. You have to be a subscriber on the day to be involved with that. If you've already got it, then do you know what? You get a chance to share it with a friend, or maybe gift it to someone else in the ICU community. That would be very, very nice. But it means that you can take part in the ICU Society stuff as well, which is nice because, yeah, it's nice to be able to give a game away, but it's giving a game away that we are actively involved in. So it's good. So if you're a sub on Monday, if you're a sub already and you're going to be a sub Monday, you don't have to do anything else. As long as you've linked it all up, you're in the hat. So yeah, one copy of PGA 2K21, a full game. So for that sub, which could even just be a Twitch Prime or a Prime Gaming sub, which is completely free, you could win yourself a full game for that. So that's nice. Anyway, speaking of games and winning and spending, let's jump back into the news. As we covered this yesterday, was it? I think it was yesterday. But But there has been an advancement on it, as Andy Robinson from VGC says. EA pulls Toy Shop ad for FIFA Points and commits to an immediate review. Publisher says promotion shouldn't have appeared in a channel seen by children. This is a follow-up from yesterday's article where this advert that you can see on screen if you're watching on YouTube or Twitch is an advert that appeared in a Smith's catalogue that says, Step 1, start playing FIFA. Step 2, use FIFA points to open packs, which is basically buy the game and then buy extra purchases. So we'll jump into the article that says Electronic Arts has pulled an advertisement for FIFA microtransactions that appeared at a UK toy retailer. The advert, which promotes the use of FIFA points in FIFA 21's Ultimate Team mode, attracted criticism this week for appearing in the in-store magazine for Smiths, a retailer of children's toys and games which has over 100 stores throughout the UK and Ireland, apart from the one near Bibby, which is called Smythes. An EA spokesperson told VGC that the FIFA points advertisement should not have appeared in the channel seen by children and committed to an immediate review of its media placements to ensure future marketing better reflects the responsibility we take for the experience of our younger players. It said, we take very seriously the responsibilities we have when marketing EA games and experiences in channels seen by children. In spite of this, we're aware that advertising for FIFA points has appeared in environments it shouldn't have. We've been working diligently with Smiths to ensure this advertisement is not distributed in any remaining copies of their 2020 catalogue, the spokesperson added. We have also undertaken an immediate review of all future media placements and are working to ensure each of our marketing efforts better reflects the responsibility we take for the experience of younger players. FIFA points are the virtual... Okay, well, that's fine. We don't need to go through the rest of the other stuff about other game modes. But EA has acted. The FIFA points placement that appeared in Smith's magazine, which basically said that to play the game, you need to add FIFA points as the second step of the game. The third step is build your squad. But before you even start building your squad, you need to get FIFA points. That has now been removed. What are your thoughts, Pip?
They are sorry that they've got caught, and so much controversy has been made off the back of it. We had this discussion yesterday. It might have been the day before. It might have been Monday, actually. And we said that they are well within their right to market this game however they want. It's not illegal. Fair enough. It is
Unethical.
Unethical. It's unethical for them to be able to do it and target kids, but legally they are well within their right to do it. And I said the only way that we can change this is if not enough noise gets made about it. And that is exactly what has happened over the last 5 days, I think it is, since this article came out. Enough noise has been made, and people have started to take more notice than they usually do. I give the example that the people in our chat now, the people who are on Twitter, the people who play this game all the time, are not the main demographic for this. The casual gamers, the people who just play FIFA maybe 1 hour a day and put £20 in a week, they make up more than you would ever be able to get your head around. And it's them that we need to try and convince to take this a step further. So if we're getting it in front of parents' faces when it's leading up to Christmas and they know that this is now an absolute scandal, that is a bigger win than us just talking about it on this talk show or someone else talking about it on their talk show. It's a massive thing that this is now to happen. If EA are taking note and they're having to put press releases out, this is way bigger than we could have ever imagined.
I don't know how I want to phrase this. EA's... I mean, let's just step away from Ultimate Team and the FIFA points bit. They said that they're having a review of its media placements. Their media placement team needs an absolute slap. Because you look at the last 2 weeks, there was a criticism on... criticism on
You need a bit of water there, lad. Get some of that iced coffee in
I've
that.
I've just got a sweet, and do you know when you like inhale and liquid goes down your throat and you're like...
Yeah.
So UFC, that was it. UFC had the boys advert popping up full screen. That's not FIFA points, because there's a slightly different argument there in FIFA points is pushing towards gambling. But forget that angle first. The boys is pushing towards paying for a subscription service. So it's pushing towards spending money. But that level of poor decision-making leading to purchases or pushing towards purchases just seems to be throughout EA in that sense. So our in-game advertising, we are going to wait until a game has come out, wait until a game has been reviewed, wait until a month after its release so that its Metacritic has stabilised, everyone has reviewed it, and then we are not even going to stealth ads in. We're just going to take over the full screen with advertising. And then afterwards go, oh, we should have. We now know it's daft to have full screen advertising that takes over the game. Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. There's nothing wrong with having advertising in the game. So if you had an advert for the boys on the canvas, that's fine. People would see that stuff in real life anyway. We as Jelly Media have made that happen in boxing matches. We've got video game brands to appear on the mat of a ring in a boxing match that was streamed across the world on Sky Sports and everything. So that stuff does happen. Seeing a brand like a position, if EA is going to get money that's going to fund the game, that's going to add more stuff for people that play the game, that is on the ring mat. It's not invasive. You guys are going to stand on it. Someone's going to get dropped on it. You hardly even notice it, but it's there. It's just enough subliminal advertising. To have a full takeover of it is ridiculous. So for them to not see that level of media placement is a travesty. Is one thing, but then to go on to just put that blatantly into it, and apparently this isn't the first time. The article that we covered yesterday or the day before, whatever it was, said that the same thing happened last year as well. So it's not just a case of we need a review of its media placements. You need a review of your whole media placement process, not just for FIFA and Ultimate Team, but for everything. If you're putting media in your game that's at the expense of the gameplay, you're putting media in written publications elsewhere that's at the expense of the users. Your games and your users are being exploited. Sort it out, mate. Sort it out, mate.
Yeah. Again, I think they're more devastated that people have been talking about it, and it's managed to make news headlines around the world. Slapping an advert into what is essentially what the Argos catalog used to be, and hoping that it doesn't become mainstream media. And the people who are those catalogs are usually made for people who don't go looking for certain things. Like we obviously have a talk show where we go and find news articles in the morning and then talk to our lovely community about it every single morning, so that they're clued up about what news is landing today. The people that the catalogs are aimed at isn't us. It's for parents who are looking to try and find what they want to buy little Jimmy for Christmas, and that's who it's aimed at. Unfortunately for them, as someone who is invested in the video game world, has made a massive outrage about it, and rightly so, because they could have phrased that so much. If they'd have taken away buy FIFA points, if they'd have changed step two to use coins, or whatever it is coins, isn't it? The other currency that's in the FIFA points
Yeah.
and coins. If it was something like use coins to open packs instead,
Or
it's a completely different argument.
not even mentioning a consumable. Just saying, start playing. So the I'll put it back on screen for those that want to see it. So step 1, start playing FIFA Ultimate Team. Step 2, use FIFA points to open packs, which is the shit show. Step 3, build your dream squad. If that was just sign players from packs,
Yeah.
or even not even mentioning packs, just like add, recruit players to your team because it's your Ultimate Team, and then build your squads. So you recruit players to your team. You can get that anyway. You could do that doing the free packs from Twitch Prime, or just playing your the not squad builder stuff, but the Daniel James stuff we were talking about the other day. Like you can get players without funneling money into the game. Yeah, objective stuff. So having that in it, the whole advert is perfectly fine then. So start playing the game, get players in your team, build your squad, go out on the pitch. Logic. Start playing game, gamble. What? No.
It's become normal though for kids to want Fortnite skins or FIFA points or something like that for their birthday, which is, if that's what they want, that's what they want. I mean, I always objected to doing that for my brother. I would much rather spend £40 on a t-shirt or tracksuit or a pair of trainers that he wanted for his birthday, other than him wanting to have a new skin in Rocket League for his car, because that's all. Every time it's his birthday or Christmas, all he wants is Xbox Live voucher to be able to buy stuff within a game. And for me, even as someone who lives and breathes in the video game world, it still breaks my heart that that's the one thing that he wants to spend his money on. Where I could buy him something, I would much rather spend more on him to get him something that would be so much cooler than having a brand new car in a game. But that is what he thinks is cool. So it's like, where do you draw the line on that?
Yeah.
That's what the kids want. They
I
want,
mean,
if they're playing that game day in day out. Not hopefully you'd expect it to be monitored. My mum probably doesn't, and I know for a fact she never did with me. But microtransactions wasn't around that when I was growing up, thankfully.
I mean, it's all. I mean, that all changes with perspective as well. Because if you are looking at why would you want to spend 40 quid on V-Bucks when I want to spend 40 quid on a new pair of jeans or something. But then your granddad might be like, why do you want to spend 40 quid on another pair of jeans? Back in my day, a pair of jeans was just something you wore to do physical manual labour or go to work. Jeans weren't a fashionable item. So why would you want to spend money on jeans? I want to spend 40 quid on turnips and stuff to feed the family. And then 40 years before him, turnips? What the fuck? I want to spend 40 quid on a pointy stick so I can go and stab things today. I mean, obviously time doesn't move that fast, but yeah, you get.
We've seen Robbo's comment there. So should streamers be controlled on what they do?
Good question.
Just so that they're advertising points or buying on a big scale. There's two ways that you can look at that, really, and I'm going to take the side of the influencer on this. The influencer 9 times out of 10
Shock horror. Twitch partner takes influencer side.
Well, it's a two-pronged approach. I'm going to take the side of the influencer on this one because I feel like this is probably the easy way of looking at it from an adult's perspective. If you have a business and your business is to stream and you make a lot of money off doing that, if you make £60,000 in 3 or 4 months of FIFA coming out and you drop in £10,000, you are still £50,000 up. That is before people come to your stream and donate money. That's before they come to your stream and resubscribe. That's before they come in to drop PayPal money into you. That's before someone comes in and wants to sponsor your stream. That's before all of these advertising companies come in and want to advertise their products on your stream. So your stream therefore becomes a business. We have worked with influencers over the years, and we still do on a daily basis. Well, I'm going to say the ones that we are quite close with will say, don't buy FIFA points. If you think that you are going to be spending £20 on FIFA points, don't. Save it, put it in your pocket, and do whatever you want. Watch how much £20 gets me, and they will have a shit ton of unusable gold players that they will just use into SBCs. They will not. It's very rare that I've ever gone into a streamer's channel, whether or not it be PES or FIFA, and they have said, "Look what you can do if you spend this amount of money. You can pack yourself a Pele." They never say that.
Yeah.
I have never once been in a streamer's chat, a top tier streamer, and they've come to you and said, "If you spend £50 in this, this is what you're going to come away with." Every single one that I have been into that has morals will say, don't spend your money on FIFA points.
Yeah,
do not, because he knows what their audience is and what his demographic is. They know
that's
it's going to be
the difference, isn't it? Is the fact that this article is saying use FIFA points. So this article is saying spend your money on something without a guaranteed return on investment. Content creators don't tend to tell you to do that. What they actually want is you to not do that, because if you don't spend that money, that satisfaction of packing something you get from watching their streams, which is what they really want. So I mean, there is a conversation on should they be told to share that they're buying points and whatever. But at the moment, no. That's where the ethical and the legal side of things. There's nothing wrong with playing a game. There's nothing wrong with gambling. There's nothing wrong with showing you gambling, because if these guys aren't allowed to do any Ultimate Team stuff with points and coins or whatever that they've paid for and legitimately can afford to do that, then someone like Spraggy, who plays poker on Twitch and is a huge poker streamer, should he be banned because that's gambling? And so there's nothing wrong with someone showing gambling elements as long as it's done with the necessary awareness. And most content creators don't say buy points. You have to buy points. Yeah. Buy your points now. I mean, they used to do, but even then it was buy your points, buy your FIFA points or coins or whatever from this website where I'll get a 10% kickback and you'll save yourself money, because it was all illegal and shit. But even then, that was the sell wasn't so much the buying coins; it was buying coins cheaper. I mean, it's still shady as shit. But I did see a few comments that I wanted to jump on. One of them was Iceman. There we go. The review will be into how they can get away with it next time, which is amazing. There was another one as well.
A lot of people do say that they've got a street that they are sponsored. They would have to put #ad in there more often than not. But
yeah, not even that was the one. That was it. That was the other one. So the question from Robbo was: so should streamers be controlled on what they do? No, actually, no, not even. That's not the point. It was the one about the advertising. I've just literally, it must have moved as I did it. There you go.
It does. I do think streamers should have to declare if they're sponsored.
There you go. I do think sorry, I'll read it again for you because I was chatting shit over the top of you. I do think streamers should have to declare if content is sponsored, just like Instagram has to. They do. Legally, they do. If a streamer is is sponsored, they have to
Mm-hmm.
share that. And that's the thing. Most people think FIFA streamers are paid to show FIFA content. As game changers, more often than not, they aren't. And I don't think people understand that. FIFA has such a demand that the content creators don't need to be paid by the brand.
Yeah.
FIFA guys get paid by their subs and by advertising. More often than not, the only things that a FIFA game changer will get is the same that any journalist will get. They'll get paid the flight to go to the capture event. They will be fed and given accommodation at the event, and they'll be paid to go back. They don't get paid a wage to go, and they don't get paid, there's 10 grand to make a video on it. FIFA guys don't tend to get that because they don't need it. And EA knows that people have a desire for it that much that they can essentially get away without paying for it. There will be some things, but more often than not, if you turn Castro or Bateson or anyone, I mean, I'm not saying this for certain. I'm not had chats with them, but more often than not, they're just making content because that content feeds them and their channel. That it's not because EA has paid them to be doing that sort of stuff. So yeah, they should always be. It's a legal requirement. It's not like should as in it'd be nice to. That is a legal thing. If someone is paid to make content, it has to have a hashtag ad and disclaimers and stuff within it. An example being when we played Marvel's Avengers on stream, which we got from Square Enix, we had to say and put in the stream title that code was given to us by Square Enix. We weren't paid to, but that they were saying, okay, this is to make sure that there's no confusion. The disclaimer is that you have to say that you got this from us for free, which then allows people to frame, is he just saying this nice stuff because he wants to get on their good side, or is he saying it because he believes it and stuff? But yeah. EA give them free FIFA points so they don't have to say it's sponsored.
I can tell you now that is highly incorrect.
That's
I can tell you now.
Factually incorrect. I know that for
Bullshit.
certain. Yeah.
Yeah, we know that for a fact. That is bullshit.
See,
There is no way that they are doing the same way with Tito saying I can see that the start. Not that. It was. I wonder if EA have the ability to influence the streamer's spins.
Nope.
Nah.
That is illegal.
Go to Matt JD's, go to Matt HD streamers yesterday. He had 400. No, was it 42 or 427,000 EA points or FIFA points or something like that? He knows that he over the next 2 months at least he will be making more money than you and me could ever dream of, and he has put a quarter of that back into his stream because he knows that's what people are going to come to his stream for. It's a business to him. He knows that people are going to come to his stream, donate, or do whatever. So there is no way on God's green earth EA are going to give them money to go for people to go to his stream. It doesn't work like that. They're using their money that they have earned as a business to put back in. It's speculating to accumulate, and it's worked for him for the last 4 or 5 years. Why would they not do it now? There is no way that they would do it.
The only time that would be different is, say, a launch bundle or something like that, and you get a code with some points or something on it. That is the only time it would be different. They aren't supplied on demand because that is a capital gain. If you're getting those coins and earning off it, that's a capital gain that has to be declared on stream at least. If there's probably a taxable repercussion from that as well. But from a content advertising perspective, EA wouldn't just give people coins because they know that they could be pulled for that. And they've
Well, Bateson did it last year, didn't he? He got, was it Scream around Halloween time where he got like a box sent to him, and it was like a FIFA points code for like 1,000 points inside a marketable Scream card little blob that I'm guessing now they would have to declare that and say post it on social media or something like that because it's an influencer campaign that they've put out there. So it would have been like a little pot with a little, what's it called? Like a little card in there with the redeemable code. That would just be an influencer pack. But there is no way that they are getting a weekly wage to be able to put back into the game to show you lot what packs that they're getting. There's no way.
I remember using Bateson as an example, and I've had conversations with him about this, but I can share it because he was open with it in his chat. Bateson used to have basically a sugar daddy, some dude that just gave him money to open packs. And it wasn't an EA guy, it was just one of his viewers that had shitloads of cash and just went, there you go, there's a chunk of cash. There's nothing wrong with that because Bateson isn't being paid by a brand. That's basically a donation. If someone in your chat donates to you and says, I like what you're doing, open some packs so I can watch, you aren't being paid by EA. You just have a sugar daddy. Like you'll see a lot of PUBG guys. There's a guy called Fuzzwuz who donates hundreds to PUBG's channels. I don't know if he's a millionaire or whatever he is. He could be massively in debt. I don't know. But he just drops loads of money for people to do whatever they want, and that is fine because that's just someone with no link to the brand. Just going, there you go. I like watching your stuff. Do more of it. That's a donation. A donation is a very different thing legally from a brand giving you stuff to do more content. So if we ever give anything to content creators, we say it's from Konami UK. Make sure you say that. It's from Official Pez. Make sure you say that. It's whatever. Make sure you say that. And then that way we've covered our back and said that, and then the content creators then have to pass that on. Even if they gave them coins, that's fine. But they have to say these coins have been given by EA. Massive thanks to that. It's not paid promotion, but they have to classify it because that is a different step. So if a game changer has told you that they get free FIFA points, what they probably mean is they've had points for free previously in special occasions or whatever, but it's not like they are ploughed with coins to keep opening packs unless they say that. They have to say that. That's the case. Madge says, I tried being a sugar daddy, but I ran out of money. God damn it, Madge! why do you think we gave you the sword? God, someone take it back. He's got no money left. I'm joking. We give you the sword because you're lovely. That's why. Let's wrap things up on this then, because we could be here for quite a while.
Hour and a half. Jesus.
Yeah, although about 10 to 12 minutes of it was like countdown and then the new intro as well. So I do think streamers should have that bit. I agree. I don't have an issue about sponsored content, says Tito. But how many times have you seen a streamer play a brand new game, hype the hell out of it, and never play it again once they've done their 1 hour contract time? Lots of times. But there's nothing wrong with that, because just because they don't play it again, it's not a game that they're going to play. But when you sponsor a streamer, you don't sponsor the streamer long term. You sponsor the streamer's channel. You're essentially sponsoring to speak to the audience. It's not whether the streamer plays it again, it's whether the audience then pick it up. If the audience pick it up, because it's all about ever diminishing circles. So the streamer might play it, and if he has 100,000 people watching, let's say 10% of those pick up the game and download it or install it or buy it. So that 100,000 people suddenly becomes 10,000 people. They might play it once and then go, actually, it's not for me. But then 10% of them might play it regularly. That 10,000 people suddenly becomes 1,000 engaged users, and that's where it is. It's not about the streamer. I was having a conversation with someone on this on social media in response to one of Vern's tweets about, I think Matt HT actually, about him playing the game. And someone was like, Konami shouldn't ever get involved with these and sponsor these people to play it once or twice. I was like, that's a charged opinion that isn't based on numerical data. Getting someone to play it once, but if they play it once, it speaks volumes. They never play it again. They don't like it. It's like, well, Konami never worked with Matt HD anyway, so that's a flaw. He just did it on his own. He played it multiple times, and what he was extremely positive about the game, about the community around the game, i.e. people making him his own kits and telling him how to play and stuff. I mean, I saw loads of PES community guys in Matt HD's chat offering support, offering assistance, and that shows. So even though that guy might only play it once, Matt HD isn't that example, but even someone might jump on and play it once, even if they are sponsored, the fact that their chat have their eyes open to it. If he doesn't play it again, that's fine. He's not a PES guy. His chat aren't PES guys. They are there for FIFA, but you might turn somebody's attention, even temporarily or maybe permanently. Some people play PES now that used to play FIFA previously. They got there because of exposure or because of lack of affiliation with FIFA anymore or whatever. And any placement of content, it's advertising. It's as simple as that. You can't expect someone to come out of their way to go looking for your product. You have to make them aware of it. So yeah, having streamers playing games and having them sponsored for just an hour or so, 2 hours or whatever at a time, and then giving up on it, it's advertising. It's the same with, why would I bother putting an advert on TV for 30 seconds just because people will see it and then it'll be gone again? But that's advertising. That's it. That's the point. But it's false reputation. If they say it's awesome but it's not, then that's pretty shitty. I know that's probably a very small proportion though. I mean, most streamers aren't told to say it's awesome. Matt HD was saying it's awesome because he was enjoying it. He wasn't paid at all to play it. If he thought it was awesome, he thought it was awesome. There's nothing wrong with that. But even then, most streamers aren't told to say it's awesome. If they're not enjoying it and they're saying it's awesome, it's shit. I mean, we do a lot of Konami's influencer stuff, and one thing we don't do is seed unnatural content. If you give someone content that they don't believe, then their audience will know that they don't believe it, and it won't sell, and it'll look bad for them. Their audience won't agree to it. Their audience will instantly know that they're a shill, and it looks bad on the brand. So we wouldn't ever do that. Say, this is amazing. No, it's all about exposure and look, this is what you get. This is what happens. This is how this works. That sort of stuff. That's the better sort of content. So yeah, nobody goes out to sponsor streamers to say, this is awesome. Try this. There will be positive. Obviously, they're not going to be overly negative because it's still sponsored content. But you don't push like too heavily on false emotion, because people will see straight through that. And that's the thing. A lot of people that slate influencer content don't tend to actually watch much influencer content in that sort of sense, because if they did, or good influencer content, because they would see that it's not just building a false narrative. It's more information than anything else. Because you only get 10 minutes on a YouTube video, a couple of hours on a Twitch stream. If you fill that with false narratives, people will see that straight away. I would offer my HD my support, but I'm banned for some reason. Have you been windmilling in Twitch chats again, Magic Man? I mean, I told you once. Once is enough, honestly. Anyway, let's wrap things up. We do have another article. We didn't even get through 2 articles. Do you know what? I'm just going to read the title of it because it kind of speaks for itself. So let's jump off this and jump on to the next article, which is, if Chrome ever comes alive. There we go. Pro Legend, Forza Motorsport 7, and more are coming to Xbox Game Pass in October. So a few of the titles come to Xbox Game Pass in October have been announced, and it all kicks off on October 1st with Doom Eternal for Android and console, including all the other things that are on screen in bold that you can see there. But you have until the 15th of October to play the following games: Felix the Reaper, Metro 2033 Redux, Minute, Saints Row 4 Re-Elected, and State of Mind. So if you have Game Pass, expect more free games, and if you have Game Pass, make sure you play the games that are leaving before then, because if not, you'll miss out. Tito says, well, Madge, you are known for being a belligerent arse. There's that. Tito's words, not mine. Anyway, we are going to drop off because we have multiple things for you to get involved with today. First of all, exclamation mark giveaway. We are giving away a Muscle Moose selection box. That giveaway ends today. So make sure you get involved. Do you know what? I'll type it for you. Exclamation mark giveaway. There you go. We're giving that away today. One other selection box will be won today, and that will be won in the Muscle Moose Cup. We are holding an esports tournament tonight on Twitch. It starts at 7 p.m. We'll be live a little bit before that, though, to get everything all set up and running. The tournament will have 8 PES esports stars, content creators, and more. They will all be taking part in the stream today. So join us from 7 o'clock tonight for that. So like I say, giveaway for anyone that isn't in the stream. There will be giveaways for the people that win the stream, and giveaways for people that have just subscribers in the channel, like Ian has just done with his Prime. Thank you very much for the Prime. Much appreciated, Ian, dude. If you're a sub, exclamation mark loot drop in the chat will show you how to win a copy of PGA 2K21. We'll be giving that away on Monday for anyone that's a sub and has linked their Discord and Twitch accounts and joined the Ice Cream Discord. That's all you need to do. So if you're a sub, it doesn't cost you any more. You get a free entry, and because you're a sub, it's a very limited entry, so you have a good chance of winning. Not a nailed-on chance, obviously. It depends on how many people have done it, but you have a good chance of winning. Better than win the lottery, anyway. Anyway, before we do disappear, we're going to come back with Masters of the League, and then, obviously, later on, we'll be back with the Muscle Moose Cup. But before we do disappear for those, Bib, is there anything you want to add?
Yes, as this is the last episode of The Scoop this week, next episode will be Monday. But if you do see any news articles between now and then do feel free to get in contact with us. There's 2 ways that you can do that. First of all, you can find us on social media. Spoiler alert, it's at Ice Cream Uploads across absolutely everything. I've just seen that Ian's just put a subscribe with Twitch Prime as well. Thank you very much, mate. I very much appreciate that. We very much appreciate that.
I shouted
Absolute
that one out.
hero stuff. Oh, did you?
Yeah. I was
completely went right over my head then.
I did it when I was talking about the loot drop. I was like, if you're a subscriber, okay. Ian has just done with his Prime Gaming. Cheers, Ian. But yeah.
Anyway.
I'm duplicating Madge's social shout-outs. Thanks, Madge.
But But yeah, there's two ways you can contact with us. Spoiler, it's ice cream. Second way is to join us in our Discord, as Graham very nicely put. There's a whole host of benefits to be able to link your social stuff over to it. But yeah. Graham, what time will we going live on Monday?
10 a.m. ish. ish.
Yeah.
I just want to apologise to Iceman because Bib said I typed Discord in and didn't, and it was Iceman that did it. So cheers, Iceman. Much appreciated. Ian says, cheers, lads. I enjoy the streams. We enjoy you being here. Thanks, dude. Like I say, if you haven't joined the Discord, the link that's just above your comment, and make sure you link your accounts, because now you're a sub, you will be in for Monday's giveaway. The first Monday of every month, we do the loot drop giveaway. And if you haven't done that, you aren't in it. Even though you are a sub, if you haven't done all of the things to tick all the boxes, you aren't including the giveaway. So the ticking of the boxes is just joining the Discord and linking your accounts. That's it. Make sure you do it. If not, you'll miss out on a free chance to win PGA 2K21. There you go. That's it. Anyway, we are going to drop off. We'll be back in about 15, 20 minutes-ish. We're just going to get the green screen in place, get all of the suitable refreshments and stuff, and we'll be back as managers of Ice Cream Uploads FC for Masters of the League episode 46, ladies and gentlemen. 46. Yeah. End of the January transfer window. So busy times. Anyway, we are going to drop off. Have yourselves a fantastic day. Grab yourself some food. It's pretty much lunchtime, and we'll see you back here in about 15, 20. Until then, stay frosty.